GLP-1 medications like Ozempic are everywhere right now. Maybe you're already on one and thinking about starting a family, or maybe you're not on one yet, but wondering if it could help with your fertility. In either case, you'll want to make sure that your body stays strong and well nourished. So today, in part three of my 3-part weight loss and fertility series, I am breaking down the diet and lifestyle habits to help you do just that. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Whitney. I'm a fertility dietitian and coach, and I help busy women just like you get out of the Google spiral and get pregnant. As a board-certified food and fertility nerd, I've helped hundreds of women figure out their fertility so they can go on to grow the family of their dreams. In today's video, I'm sharing 5 foundational habits to implement if you're already on a GLP-1 medication and planning to get pregnant in the near future. As always, this video is meant for educational purposes only and not meant to be a substitute for medical advice. In part 1 right here, I shared my experience as a weight loss dietitian and why losing weight is not the fertility fix that a lot of physicians are claiming it to be. And then in part 2 over here, I dove into the science behind the highly popular GLP-1 medications and the risks that you absolutely need to know about, especially if you're planning on getting pregnant. I highly recommend checking out both of those videos so you can get the full picture before you jump into any weight loss plan, GLP-1 or otherwise. Before we dive in, I'd actually love to hear from you. If you're already on one of these medications, did your doctor provide any diet and lifestyle support? Or have you kind of been left to your own devices to figure it out on your own? Let me know in the comments and let's talk about this. Now, let's get started with the tips. My first suggestion is to eat regularly even if you don't feel hungry. GLP-1 medications can suppress your appetite, so waiting until you feel hungry might mean that you're not eating enough to fuel your body or your fertility. The solution? Stick to a schedule. I typically recommend eating breakfast within an hour or so of waking up and then eating about every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day following that. By setting up a regular eating routine, you're going to help avoid the risk of malnutrition and make sure that your body is getting a steady supply of the nutrients that it needs to support your egg quality and hormone production throughout the day. Skipping meals might feel tempting because I know you're not hungry, but remember, underfueling leads to those nutritional deficiencies that we talked about in video 2 right up here, and that is the exact opposite of what we're going for if you're planning on getting pregnant. My second suggestion is to switch your prenatal formulation. If you're on a GLP-1 medication, you'll want to choose a powdered, chewable, or liquid prenatal over a tablet or capsule. This is because these medications slow down digestion and can cause issues with malabsorption, which means those traditional pill forms that take longer to digest might not be absorbed properly. By using a liquid or chewable version, you're improving the chances that your body can actually break down and absorb the essential nutrients like folate, iron, and vitamin D that are critical for both you and your baby-to-be. I'll go ahead and link my favorites page below where I've listed some of my favorite prenatals that also have some powdered options as well. My next suggestion is to drink water between your meals and not with your meals. These medications often lead to delayed gastric emptying, which makes nausea sometimes chronic and worse. Drinking water with your food might make you feel overly full or uncomfortable and can even reduce your appetite further, leading to a higher risk of undereating. Instead, sip on water between your meals so that you stay hydrated without interfering with your digestion. Next up, let's talk about the order in which you eat your foods. I suggest starting with protein and fat and save the carbohydrates for last. When we think about nutrient priority, there are essential amino acids from protein and essential fatty acids from fat, but there's no such thing as essential carbohydrates. And while carbohydrates are a fantastic source of energy, you're only going to be able to eat a small amount of food because of that delayed gastric emptying from the medications. We need to make sure that you're prioritizing the absolute essentials first. Think of it like this. Protein helps with maintaining muscle mass, which is crucial when you're in a calorie deficit, and healthy fats are essential for hormone production. Carbohydrates are still important, but when space is limited, we have to focus on the must-haves first. Finally, we have got to talk about strength training. If we're talking about weight loss in general, strength training is crucial. When you're in a calorie deficit, whether from a medication or just eating less overall, you're at a very high risk of losing muscle. And we do not want that. And this is such an important piece because maintaining muscle mass is not just about looking toned, even though that is very nice. It's about keeping your metabolic health strong and helping support overall hormone production. So if you're not already incorporating strength training into your routine, this is your sign. I suggest aiming for about 2 to 3 sessions per week, focusing on a variety of major muscle groups to get the most benefit for your body. Now that we've got you set up with the basics, if you're ready to dive even further, I strongly suggest checking out my other videos and head down below where I've linked my Fertile Kickstarter guide. This is where I'm gonna share all of my, not all of them, but a good portion of my insider tips to help you get pregnant this year without the added stress and restrictions that typically come along with it. That's all for today, folks. If you are a fellow food and fertility nerd, be sure to hit subscribe and comment below, and I will see you in the next one.